Raymond with Prosperity Society. I got to be quick because I have to go to work. Also, the battery's almost dead. Alright, the reason why I created Prosperity Society. First of all, if you're intelligent, trustworthy, and reliable, I can probably help you and make your life a lot better. You can probably make a lot more money and such in the society and working together with me. If you're not very smart, or you're dishonest, or you're a bad person, you're not going to gain anything out of the society, and it's not for you. Believe me. Okay, the reason why I created it is because I live in a dysfunctional society. And this is not an abstract theory, it's something that affects my everyday life. You know, it affects me when I go to work and I make less money and my work is much more stressful than it needs to be. It affects me when I deal with crime in the neighborhood and the police are being corrupt and won't behave properly. And I'm getting robbed and I'm getting assaulted and stabbed and my property vandalized and everything else because of stupid police. And also because neighbors and such are stupid or weak or whatever. And I'm just tired of losing. You know, I'm losing not because I'm weak or stupid or dysfunctional, but because the people around me are dysfunctional, because the police are dysfunctional, because the schools are dysfunctional, because the workplaces are dysfunctional. It affects me. So I'm trying to create an elite community, a community where we can win. We have people that are smart enough to behave properly and do things properly, and they're honest and trustworthy. And it's a pretty simple concept, but we analyze culture, we analyze ideology, we analyze government, we analyze also the local community because it's dysfunctional on every level. You know, the federal government's dysfunctional, but also the local communities and groups, the churches and clubs and everything like that consist of certain ideologies and behaviors that are not very successful. And so that's where we have a merit-based society where we believe that competence is very important. We believe it's important to be smart. It's important to be educated. It's important to learn good habits. It's important to be trustworthy and reliable and work as a team. And, you know, that's where I'm coming from. One of the biggest issues I'm going to harp on is crime and corrupt police, that it's very important that we establish safety. And that costs a lot of money as well. It leads to poverty. When people are dishonest, you go to work and they're stealing money off your check and they're dropping food on the floor and feeding it to people when you work at a restaurant or you work at a factory and it's unsafe conditions. You know, this not only harms people directly, but it causes financial harm to the business. It's not smart to act that way. You know, this kind of third world behavior that I'm constantly dealing with, it's not smart for either party. If you go around ripping people off, it eventually costs you money too most of the time because nobody wants to do business with you. You know, it just makes sense to be civilized and to make good decisions and to be honest and trustworthy. And people aren't doing that out here. It's like they're too stupid to behave properly. You know, they're just it's like an episode of Jerry Springer. They shoot themselves in the foot and then they shoot their neighbor in the foot, and sometimes they shoot their neighbor in the head. You know, it's not smart choices. And I'm tired of dealing with it personally. I'm tired of being dirt poor and getting robbed and stabbed and shot and dealing with crooked cops and dealing with dysfunctional government and et cetera, et cetera. If I were just around people similar to myself, I'd be very wealthy, living a very easy life, being very happy and having a good time. Instead, I'm constantly nervous and shaking because I'm dealing with people that are screwed up in the head and won't act right. So that's why I created the society. It's not only to find good people and meet them, but I want to breed smart children and create and encourage people to live better and create a community, a sustainable community of healthy, successful people into the future and kind of spread competence and spread health and spread success and spread good habits. Instead, what we have is a culture out here that we used to celebrate our abilities. Now mainstream society celebrates our disabilities. You know, we have a culture out here where the kids go to college, instead of learning how to succeed in the world, they're taught to be weak and stupid, and they need safe spaces and can't be around anything that makes them uncomfortable. You know, like the culture out here is teaching people to be losers, and it's breeding people and raising them to lose and to fail, and it's creating dysfunction. So a lot of it goes back to culture, and it also goes back to policies of the government. It goes back to religious ideas and the policies that the churches and stuff push. So I'm a counterculture to all that because I believe since the 1960s, our culture has encouraged dysfunction. It's a Jerry Springer world now where they encourage people to be dysfunctional like that. And we just don't need to live like that. We can live much better very easily. These aren't abstract ideas. These are things that affect your everyday life. That is going to make you richer. It's going to make you healthier. It's going to make you happier if you live your life the right way using logic, using intelligence. You know, it's not very hard to understand once you get into it, but thank you for your time.